Welcome to another weekly edition of the Best Way to Smoke News, brought to you by none other than Cali God. Stop smoking spit.
No drip lip.
Huh? And this news is being presented to you by Serpo Jr.
Big J.
Yay. The marijuana moment in Wisconsin residents spent over $121 million on marijuana at Illinois retailers in 2022.
What?
That's a lot of bread.
Man.
Wisconsin residents purchased more than $121 million worth of marijuana from legal retailers in neighboring Illinois in 2022, contributing about $36 million in tax revenue to the state, according to a legislative analysis requested by a top Wisconsin senator. LFB released its findings last week, estimating over 121 million in marijuana sales from Wisconsin's residents last year. The governor had previously the governor has previously signaled that he planned to put an adult use measure in his request, despite a top GOP lawmaker warning that taking that step could compromise negotiations on more modest medical cannabis legislation. I don't see what the fight is right there if none other than you bringing a higher revenue service towards the state, community, or whatever it may be.
Right.
I mean, shoot. And this right here, they not saying it, but it looked like it came something successful, something that can possibly grow.
Facts.
And it looked like, man, if you trying to cut in and cut some shit and it's finna step into some other stuff, like, man, you probably finna break down your economy low key.
Man, moving on. Nevada lawmakers filed bill to legalize psilocybin and MDMA for research and adult use. Nevada lawmakers have introduced a bill to legalize psilocybin and promote research into the psychedelic, as well as encourage studies on MDMA. The legislation from Senator Rochelle Nugent is primarily meant to streamline the process of studying psilocybin and MDMA, but it also contains a section that removes criminal and civil penalties for adults who possess, cultivate, or share up to 4 ounces of psilocybin. For people that don't know, that's the mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Right back there. You know what I mean? Under the measure, researchers would be able to submit an application to study either of the psychedelics to the State Department of Health and Human Services. Regulators would need to develop rules on criteria for approving those applicants. The research part of the legislation also provides legal protection against state-level prosecution for people who are involved in such studies, including the participants and those conducting the trials. So, you know, it's like a trend that's going around everywhere. Everybody is trying to adapt some kind of law to where they're gonna dig into mushrooms, the psilocybins, and try to get that going though, because a lot of the benefits that people are pushing is like, for veterans and stuff though. People that deal with what's that shit though?
PTSD.
PTSDs and shit like that, yo.
Well, man, it's like even though Nevada, that's the neighboring state, I got a lot of friends and family that's up there. But anything that's like that can help with PTSD, anything of the sort, man, I'm all for that research.
For sure.
Because it's like at the end of the day, is I believe it's really up to the person to make the choice if they want to use this to deal with whatever illness that they have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm for the research to put the research out there so you can even make that choice.
Facts. Moving on.
From the marijuana moment, Treasury Secretary says regulators are looking for solutions to marijuana banking problem as Schumer admits to addressing the issue. As Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democratic in New York, renews his commitment to tackling marijuana banking reform this year. The head of the U.S. Treasury Department says that regulators are also exploring options to address the issue. During a hearing before the Senate Finance Committee on Thursday, Senator Michael Bennet, a Democrat, I believe in Colorado, uh, press Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen
Yup.
about the fact that the cannabis industry lacks access to traditional financial services under prohibition. And like what that is, it's like if a lot of people are unfamiliar, there's a lot of cannabis companies, whether it be like forming, distribution or whatever, they have been like subject to certain bumps in the road due to like I can't bank my money. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's cases where it's like up in Humboldt, the farmers they can't bank their money. It's getting lost in burial sites and shit like that. So it's like, man, hopefully this finna open up a door. And what's up?
Yeah, you know, because it has been a fight, and it's that's part of it being decriminalized on a federal level, man. That's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people want to see that happen is because it opens up being able to use banks and you know, putting your money in the bank.
Yes. And like before we move on, one of the key points that Janet Yellen like brought up during this little hearing is that is that, as you pointed out, quote, this is her saying, as you pointed out, in the case of marijuana, it is against federal law. And that's a barrier, unfortunately, to appropriate banking services for the industry. So that's like that statement right there, that's something that has to be dealt with as far as like the banking of it, you know, because it's like we already got state by state, county by county, you know what I'm saying, different rules that actually regulate marijuana, the products of it and all, but it's still on the Schedule 1 list. So it's like that little gray area. And it's like ain't no room in the gray area for the banking. So this is something that's being brought up. People from state to state check in with y'all little local offices or whatever it may be. If you in the cannabis industry and you have like a concern, I'm not sure if you would be heard or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't hurt to try, you know, because if you're inside this industry, if the state and the city, county, whatever is getting paid, you know what I'm saying, off of your business, off of your taxes, whatever it may be, you deserve to have like, you know what I'm saying, financial securities.
And what the fuck you supposed to do?
They bad, bitch.
Yeah, moving on. CBD could reduce the craving for nicotine and help tobacco smokers quit. Study finds. A federally funded study has found that CBD may help tobacco users quit by reducing cravings. Researchers at the Washington State University looked at the effects of the non-intoxicating cannabinoid on the metabolism of nicotine, the main addictive component of tobacco. The study, published in the journal Chemical Research in Toxicology last month, showed that the relatively low doses of CBD significantly inhibited a key enzyme associated with the processing of nicotine in the body, which could stave off cravings. The whole mission is to decrease harm from smoking, which is not from the nicotine per se, but all the carcinogens and other chemicals that are in tobacco smoke. While researchers say more studies that involve human subjects are needed, the study that examined liver tissue and microsomes derived from specialized cell lines showed that cannabidiol inhabited multiple relevant enzymes and that included CYP2A6, the main enzyme that metabolizes nicotine. So,
Man,
if it can help,
that shit is cool though, cuz
yeah.
and it's like shit. In this little news segment, like in this news segment right here though, like really though, as far as like the little nicotine shit, I'm gonna shout out, you know what I'm saying, my mama and my big cousin,
On the real.
Ro. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they didn't need the CBD to get a far, like to leave the nicotine alone.
Yeah.
But if you got this research right here and it's gonna help you get up off of the nicotine, you know, because it's like we done seen all the little bad effects of the nicotine and shit. I know we done seen them commercials
Look at that shit.
Of the people with the little hole in the throat and shit like that. Like, bruh, if you can get up off of that shit and it's not like fucking up, all smoking is like pretty much damaging some
Yeah.
shit. But if you can take out that main thing that, like, you know what I'm saying, fucks up,
Yep.
I'm all for that one right
For sure.
there.
Fuck them cigarettes.
Bruh.
Moving on.
Wiz Khalifa urges people to smoke marijuana at Pennsylvania's governor inauguration party, even though it's not legal there. That's a big stance right there, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, before I even go on and read this, like, real shit. If I was out there with the motherfuckers, I'm finna go and smoke with them. Like, shit, we finna, this cloud of smoke finna be seen, shit. Musicians, including rapper Wiz Khalifa, helped celebrate the inauguration of Pennsylvania's new governor on Tuesday. And while it was a lighthearted affair, marijuana policy came up in subtle and less than subtle ways. Wiz Khalifa, for his part, didn't quite beat around the bush, saying, "I'm about two things, peace and love. And if you are 21 and older, smoke some weed." The rapper made the comment after performing one of his best-known songs, "Young, Wild, and Free." That's one of mine's weed thing songs, too.
Mm-hmm.
An iconic line from that song where the artist sings, "So what, we smoke weed," was curiously omitted during the during the set. But that shit cool, though. You know what I'm saying? Out there, they was all out there living young, wild, and free. Smoke some weed. And that's the best way to smoke new. Circo Jr.
Big J.
Baby.
Oh, man. Best way.